structure of government. What we did was transfer that authority from that king to the people. And that's what's been hidden from us. That's what they don't want us to know. And I don't know about you all, but I went to a meeting the other night. There's something called a master plan. It's a UN plan to get everybody in a 15-minute city. And what they're talking about is rezoning here so they can stack, they call them putting 12 houses on an acre. You can't put 12 houses on an acre and have a lateral. They got to be stacked up like apartments. And then if you have a 200-acre farm and you stack 12 of those things up on an acre, you're going to have 2,400 units in a 200-acre farm. And then you're going to have anywhere from 1 to 4 people living in them. So in my county, we have 39,000 people. You put 4 or 5 of those up, farms up like that, and you will double the population in no time. And we don't want that. And so we are exercising our constitutional rights to push back on that. But the problem is people aren't reading their bills of rights because it's all in there. So anyway, when Dave has his spaces, for us to come together and develop notices to put the government on notice that we're going to restructure them if they don't line up with what we want. It will be in a peaceful manner. It will be according to law. I don't know if anybody would be interested in coming, but I will put the notice out, and if you can, we'd like to have you there. Because Dave said, if you got, 1,000 people, maybe 5,000, maybe even more, they will think, well, hey, if 5,000 people think this way, I bet you for that 5,000, for every one out there, there are 10 or 20,000 that want it. And it will have a tremendous impact. And what can often happen, Dave says one of 3 things will happen. You'll have those that are stiff-necked and they're going to go down. I mean, whatever it takes, they're going to go down. They're not going to let go of that power. But you talk about Trump draining the swamp. Or you'll have some that have a God conscience and they're caught in a swamp. I mean, you got, nasty creatures in there. Or they will be afraid for their lives or their property and everything, and then they will conform and do what we command them to do. Because by a constitutional mandate, when they see, one thing I did at the meeting, the Chevron deference, I don't know how many of you are quite understand what that is. I'm sure a lot of you do. The Chevron deference was when, and the Supreme Court admitted this, if you have a chance, you can look it up. I think it's Loger versus Raimondo. It was one decision made on July the 1st of this year. Chevron deference was when Congress said, hey, agencies, you make up your policies, and, if they are ambiguous, meaning, if I suspect there is a crime going on here, I don't have to know it. I can knock on the door and go in and check on the kids, and I can take them out. If I see any dirt on the floor and I think that's a danger to them, I'll just take them out. Take them with me. That's CPS. A police officer. Maybe you're texting down a road, you're able to do it and not endanger anybody, not weaving back and forth or causing a problem, and nobody's around that would be in harm's way. And you haven't harmed anybody, but just because you're doing that, they're stopping you. See, that is Chevron deference. And there's another term, when you read the thing, it's called stare decisis. That means precedent. That means the way we've always done it. Congress said, hey, make up your own regulations, rules, regulations, and just enforce them any way you see fit. You can interpret it the way you want it. The Supreme Court said they cannot do that anymore. They're, and they don't have immunity if they continue to do it. But what I think is happening, and this is just me, it seems like there is a rush before the people find out that they have no authority to take your rights without due process, which is a trial by jury. 12. Impartial, the original definition was men, but it would be men and women, that they're unbiased and they are of character, where they can weigh the law for what it is. And the power of a grand jury is if the law that someone is being accused of breaking or a policy is unconstitutional, that jury has the power to call it unconstitutional. So it's but it's done in decent and order when you do something. So anyway, Dave is going to have a space where we will be putting together material for a notice. He'll be explaining what it's going to do. It may be he and some of his skilled people have already will be writing it and then introducing it to us, and then we'll kind of vote on it, and then a jot form will come out, and you can sign it if you want to. We just need more people to get that message to them that we are in charge, because they're going to tell you, if they can do to Trump what they did to him, they can do it to us. And that's what that message was today. If it happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. And it's like Joe Biden, I don't know if anybody heard him this morning. He said it's a pecking order. And he said he didn't care, if you were trying to conform to every your orders coming up at some point. And we can't let that happen. But with the Chevron deference, CPS, and that kind of thing, operating like it has been, they're taking property, which could be your money, it could be your car, it could be, your animals, it could be your house, whatever, and your liberty. I mean, they can see to it that you wind up in jail. But and they stop short of the King's Bench where they can take your life. But if they think they can continue to get away with those two things, I don't want to think what they would think about doing. And at least now we can let them know, hey, your heyday with Chevron is over. We know it, and we want you to know that we know it. And you have no immunity. So and that's a lot of power. I mean, can you imagine? I, I hope we could get just thousands on that space to be able to get that message. It's mailed up there to them, hit key people, and have a huge stack of those things going right up there to them. It ought to overwhelm them. So that's pretty much what I have to say on that. It's really neat. It was so good to be able to, how do I want to say it, be in that historical presentation like I was today, because that was they went through a process. They did a lot of notices, and they put them on notice. In fact, the resolves started out, this is notice to you. So it was a way of a notice. And that's what Dave's been doing. He researched it, and it's amazing how the parallels, and how if we could get the Supreme Court to spill our words back out for months. I mean, we're talking about since January here, and then even a year before that with Bruin and the gun thing. If Dave is able to construct effective notices. Some people put them out and they've corrupted them, or they'll take one of Dave's and cut and paste. And you just can't do that. I mean, it's like what happened to our name brand products when China got a hold of them? They corrupted them.
Hey, Catherine.
It's the
Catherine,
same thing. You can't
Catherine,
do it.
Catherine, can I ask you a
He
question?
literally. hears from God, God directs it. Just like God spared President Trump yesterday.
Hey, Catherine.
And
Catherine,
that
can
was
you
a
hear me?
miracle.
Catherine.
I
Can
mean, he
Catherine
moved
hear
his
me?
head
I
just
don't
at
think
the
so.
right instant, and God was looking after him, and I think he'd do it. They showed him in a praying position on his
Hey,
knees.
Catherine.
For sure.
So anyway, that's all I got to say. Is I thought I'd throw it out. I'll put the invitation out. You know, if you all want to come together and assemble together. See, we could do it like they couldn't. And I want to point out one more thing, and then I'll let you go. I mean,
Okay.
Catherine, hear
I'll
me?
listen to what you have to say.
Hey,
I don't
Catherine.
think she
Um,
can hear you.
I
now,
don't think so. Catherine, can you hear Fish?
the first Bill of Rights was written by George Mason in
Hey,
Virginia,
Catherine.
and apparently
Let her
he
go.
wrote the first. Hello,
Hi,
Can
Catherine.
you hear
Please
us?
continue, Catherine.
Can you hear us, Catherine?
hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Catherine. Fish is trying to get in touch with and trying to talk to you, but you can't hear him. And
Yeah, Rocky,
oh,
Rocky, just
sorry
I can
about
relate.
that.
That's
translate
okay.
for
That's
him
okay.
if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Just let her
Okay,
know that
okay.
she can't hear us, and we're gonna drop her down and bring her right back up.
Does he
We
have a
have
question
some.
or something?
Yes, we got a bunch of
Yeah,
questions.
there's a bunch of questions people want to ask, and he wants to drop you down and bring you back up if that's okay with you,
So that it'll
and then
reboot it and you can hear everybody.
yeah, they just want to.
Keep your eye keep your eye on her, Dana. Where'd she
I
go?
got her.
Bring her
I
back
got
up.
her.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, she's got. They weren't kidding when they said
Well,
she's like Angry Pop. I know. I saw that.
I know, but bring her back up. Where did she
She
go?
dropped out. I'll get her when she.
She she dropped out of the
She did it
room.
herself. Dang.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's
Okay.
okay. Just wait. We can wait for her. If you guys want, I'll sing for you while we wait for her to come back.
Yeah, you probably have a handful of civil rights. Then the other one are human rights. Now, the vaccines, the mRNA vaccines, were to change, were to start shifting us towards transhumanism. So if you have human rights and you are transitioning out of the human category, do you have human rights? And there are only 30 of them that the UN gives. So, but see, we're born male and female. That's not change. That's mankind. All men are inherently free and independent. And then they go on. That's Article 1, Section 1 of the Virginia Bill of Rights. Your Bill of Rights will give you more clarity of details of what our, say, 1A rights are. It fleshes them out so much. They also tell you what type of government and go in more detail about that. So we've been programmed to think in terms of civil rights and human rights. In fact, there was a black lady at the meeting the other night with a mask on. And I got to talking to her, and I said, I said, you have unlimited unalienable rights. Well, you have them, I don't. I said, yes, you do. I said, God gave us unlimited unalienable rights. I have human rights. And then I gave her I didn't tell her about the vaccine, but I said, well, you've got 30 human rights. All you need to do is exercise your unalienable rights, and they are unlimited. So that's in that 14th Amendment. Somebody mentioned the category of a person. I think Angel mentioned that. That and person can be corporation is an entity that is not of the category of people. People are sovereign. It's, it's not a sovereign citizen because now think about the hierarchy. You got the people, you got the Bill of Rights the people wrote, you have the Constitution the people wrote. Then you have the government that is framed in that Constitution. And then you have the magistrates underneath that. And then you have the category of voting. Voting is mentioned in the Constitution. So with, then you got the 14th Amendment, and by the way, that was a lawyer friend of Abraham Lincoln that wrote that part. I think the first two sections of the 14th Amendment, they had to do with citizens and persons. And so, yes, the people do fit in the category of citizens when it comes to voting, but it doesn't reduce their status as people. It's just a different aspect of your rights that have to do with voting, and that's kind of a hard concept because they have blurred every one of those things. And they want us to look at human rights because man defined those. Man defined as many as he could of our unalienable rights, but they realized there are far more than they could even begin to name. And so, as long as they don't harm people or property, your rights are unlimited, and they have to do a lot with the gifts that God has given each of us um, to express where we make our living. We develop our talents. We get education to, give us the ability to, in your case, to practice medicine, that kind of thing. And so um, that is one huge message in our Constitution that people have really lost that. And I didn't even know we had unlimited until Chuck Smith, he was running for Attorney General. He preached a sermon on he was a commander in the Marines. He preached a sermon on the first 10 amendments of that Constitution. And that's what I learned. I had more than three: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And I'm an old lady. So anyway, that's pretty much it on the unalienable rights, civil rights, and UN.
So did everybody take notes? I know there's a lot to absorb, but I would highly suggest that if you really want to be able to stand on your rights, especially you get a few people in here that start talking about stuff, just jot down a few things, and if you get angry pop in here, I'd get me a recorder or ask Fish to record the spaces
Oh,
so
hey,
you can re-listen to
we've
them.
had that. Oh, look, Diane, you need to talk to him. We've had this conversation for many, many, many times, many times. I absolutely love the idea. What the thought is, and I believe it originated with Angry Pops himself, and then also Cole mentioned it to Shane, and he tried to get a bill passed in Minnesota. And I know some people that might be trying to work with it. Having Angry Pops come in and respond to some of these constitutions recorded would absolutely be a gold mine. And
How many
he
times have you
this
had him on
convers
your spaces, though, Fish?
oh,
Yeah.
I've had him recorded. I've had him unrecorded. Here's the problem with Angry Pops. If anybody can help me with it, Angry Pops, he's a man of his word. His integrity means a lot to him, and so he's difficult sometimes to get him to commit to a time and date because he doesn't want to make promises that he may not be able to keep. But because he's got his
Right.
wife
Yeah.
and him, yeah, and so sometimes he just can't do it because he doesn't want to disappoint. He believes that if he
I mean, otherwise, yeah, because we can't all make it in here all the time at the same time. But if
right,
you get a couple of us in
right.
here and we start talking about this stuff, you're going to want to have it
Oh, I know
recorded.
it.
I would.
I tell you what, if you ladies, I tell you what, if you ladies want to, look, I happen to know some people that know some people. I'm just saying. Uh, if you ladies want Sunday night to have this space, we can record it. It's up to you. I sat back and I love this conversation. I'm not lying.
What?
I was just sending somebody a DM, Diane. I said it's nice to sit back and listen to the ladies' opinion. I shit you not. I got receipts. Um, yeah. Now some of it's mic control. We might have to throw people like Rocky out or some shit, every now and
That's funny.
What is that
Yeah,
supposed
I
to mean?
saw somebody in here earlier that definitely was in the wrong room. He kept doing thumbs down. He don't like the fact that he's got rights, I guess.
right. Well, I tell you what Pops likes doing sometimes, depending on his mood. He likes to bring them up, give them a mic, and have a conversation with them. And I'm telling you, it's. I mean, look. Here's what I'm saying. If you ladies would like to, and the other guys too, Pops and Pills and Cole and Clint and whoever else, Nick, guy in some of the other spaces, they like talking about this stuff. If you ladies want to come in and hang out Sunday night, I'm sure we can find Lewis. Lewis will come hang out with us on Sunday
You know, and
night.
you got Dennis down
Marley
here and
Martin,
Ant's
yeah.
farm. You've got a few other people in,
Oh,
and
Kath,
Angie.
I'm gonna get Kath.
I mean,
Oh, I
you've
know it,
got
but see,
you got
you
you
ladies
know,
know him,
and
yeah.
Anya and other ones in here. And
I'm gonna
see,
get
that's been.
I'm gonna get Catherine. I'm gonna get Catherine in that DM room with a couple people, and then I'm just gonna bug her every day. Catherine, when are you gonna come to us? Kath, when are you gonna come to us?
Well, you got
When?
to remember,
Then finally she'll be.
we're spending
I know.
hours and hours right now studying, and I mean,
Oh, girl, you ought to see how many hours I've
I'm
been
on a
spending.
5 hour working through a 5 hour webinar right now.
Oh, I don't even know what that
Yeah, it's
is.
it's
Look,
all law. It's all law. No, and
I've
it's a
been spending
lot of
so much
notes.
time. I've been spending so much time doing stuff. It's like I'm on X, but I never get to spend any time on X. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know who invented multitasking, but it's about the stupidest thing I ever found, man.
Well, yeah, it
I'm
wasn't
like,
us, right? It was them. It was
I'm
them
like,
trying.
what is this
They were
shit?
keeping us busy so we wouldn't know what was going on everywhere else.
Well, it's the fog of war. And that's what I love
Yep.
about the conversations with people like this and other people that we have. We have other people that can talk about and Angry Pops. Angry Pops is a lot more than just constitutional law. That man knows history. That man knows a lot of stuff. And to get him, some of my favorite conversations with him is when we were talking about history. I had some I knew there was some information, but I couldn't tie it together because I knew it existed because I'd seen it with my own eyes. And I couldn't remember where it fit. And one night, Angry Pops came into a space. It was kind of late at night, early in the morning, depending on how you look at it. And we started talking. And as the conversation led on, it went right to two of those pieces of the puzzle that fell right in. And it was about history. No, when that man told me, "No, you're right," twice in
You'll
one
have to.
space, I
You'll
was
have
like,
to get.
"Shit!" I was like that. My head swelled up like a balloon. Diane, what
Oh
you
yeah,
talking about? I'm
there's
like,
so much
Angry Pops just
history.
told me I was correct.
There's so much history that was hidden. I mean, have
Mm-hmm.
you'll have to have Catherine go over the ones on slavery and the American Indians and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And she's got a
and
great
I'll tell you,
article
people,
about that. I do have to
and
check
Diane,
out.
I'll give everybody some advice. I'll give everybody some advice that I've learned. AIs on the internet, Google, there's three that basically run it, and apparently they have woke ideology programmed into them. Elon Musk is working on some that does it. But at the end of the day, through conversations with one particular I discovered that they only know what they've been shown or programmed. They don't have the ability to go to a ancient library somewhere and actually physically open a book or look at some documents that are thousands and thousands of years old. And so unless they see it, they don't know it. And I found that out by talking to one of them because I'm like, no, I know the information is there.
Yeah, but the
I
input
don't, and the
equals
AI is,
output.
yeah. Mhm,
Input equals output
mhm,
always has in as far as computers go, and that's just another
mm.
computer program. So yeah,
That's all it
yeah, I
is,
know. I,
X's.
I had
And look,
computers in college, so
mhm,
yeah.
yeah. The advantage of it, what I can see so far, and I'm not saying there's not things that you have to be really concerned about with. Uh, the advantage is it can cover all the post within within minutes or seconds.
Supervisors. Well, there used to be like 16 of them. That's part of what they did is they redistributed and they delegated authority where they didn't have it. They renamed. Uh, if you're familiar with like a board of commissioners, show me where that's in the Constitution because it isn't. So they've been doing a lot of stuff that has to be put right. And that's why we're doing what we're doing at the township levels, educating people on those facts. And we have some places that are flipping here in Michigan, and we have other people that are in other states, Wisconsin, and I mean, California, New York. Uh-oh. I'm losing my speaker. It's wanting to close the app
Oh
on me.
no.
So if I pop out, but I'm just because they don't like me talking. But yeah,
I know it booted me out too.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's I mean, oh, here it goes again. Trying. I guess I better.
Thank you for the information, Diane. That's been excellent. Catherine, you as well. Summer, excellent. Doctor, go ahead.
Well, I was listening to this whole thing and I was thinking about something. Now, I volunteer part time for a group called Project Innocence. Basically, they look at court cases of people that are in prison and they basically find out there was issues with the trial and then they set it up for retrial. And right now, currently, there's somewhere between 20 and 40% release rate. And what was funny was I remember I walked in the first, normally I just do like psychological profiles, stuff like that, because that's basically what in my wheelhouse. But I remember I actually got to go to the court one time and I walked in and they said, "Oh, well, sir, you need to empty your pockets." And I said, "Absolutely not. That's not going to happen." Well, you can imagine at this point, 3 sheriff's officers came at me and they're like, "How do you figure?" And I said, "I'll tell you what. I carry a pocket constitution that was given to me when I was 16 years old. And I flipped it open and I said, okay, Fourth Amendment. I have the right to be secure in my person, my papers, my property, my personal effects, unless acted on by a magistrate, that would be a judge, presented with a warrant under due probable cause, and that warrant should give explicit what, when, and where is to be searched. I said, now, you're a sheriff's officer, correct? And they go, yeah. I'm like, sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution. He goes, yeah. I'm like, your boss is hired by the people. Yes. They're like, yes. I'm like, okay. So I have a document that says you're not allowed to search me unless you have a warrant. What are you using to search me? He goes, well, then I won't allow you in the building. I'm like, oh, so you're depriving me of public services. That's a felony in the state of Texas. I said, by you trying to search me, that's conduct of becoming a peace officer. That's a felony in the state of Texas. I said, oh, by the way, that's also a violation of your oath of office, a felony in the state of Texas. I said, right now, you've committed 3 felonies, and under Texas law, that's called committing a crime spree. And finally, the other sheriff came over and goes, why are you being difficult? I'm like, why are you violating my rights? I spent 24 years in the United States Navy defending the Constitution. I said, have you even read the damn thing? He's like, no, I've never read it. I'm like, then how the freaking hell can you support and defend it if you've never read it? And so they ended up calling a judge, and he, was like, well, yeah, just let him in. I said, but my question is, what law are you using to allow you to do that? And what's funny is that the judge told me, he goes, I've been a judge for 20 something years, and I've never had anybody point that out to me. And I'm like, I mean, kind of a weird thing that you would think somebody by now would have done that. But you see, so when we teach our children about the Constitution, we need to teach critical thinking along with that. And come to find out, there is actually no law. It's just more of a social norm that everybody follows that allows them to do that.
It's called Chevron deference. I don't know if you were in here when we were talking about that, but I'll tell you what. If you learn your state constitution, the Bill of Rights, like you know the federal constitution, oh my goodness, you'd be able to turn your town up right around where it ought to be because you're so articulate with it. And like you say, I asked someone running for office. I met him on two different occasions. The first one I said, "Have you read the Bill of Rights?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, you really need." Okay. I said, "Well, have you read the Bill of Rights?" "Oh, I don't have to." But I didn't. I wasn't quick enough to say, "How are you going to defend my rights if you don't know what they are?"
I mean, and what kills me is, I don't know if I live in Denton, but did you hear about this thing that happened in Fort Worth? There was a lady. What do they call those? They basically go around. They film everything that they do, right? And I didn't get all the particulars, but apparently this woman, her name's Carolina in Fort Worth, is her YouTube channel. Someone just told me about it today. Anyway, this officer comes up to her and says, "Hey, you need to go across the street." Well, first of all, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I just wanted to be one before I decided to become a doctor. But you can film anything in public as long as you're in public. You can't be trespassed. I mean, short of committing a crime, but you can film anything you want. It's completely legal. And he ended up body slamming her. And then what was funny was cracked her skull, gave her a black eye, split her lip, all that. Well, the funny thing is while he was basically arresting her, he was saying, "Oh, stop resisting, stop resisting." Well, she's sitting there having what's called agonal breathing. It's basically like, have you ever heard of somebody called a death rattle? It's the same thing. And I'm sitting there going, how is she resisting? She's dying. And it's clear. But then the funny thing is, I literally did 5 minutes worth of research. Literally 5 minutes. Come to find out that there's this whole story about this guy named Philip Turner, young black kid, got arrested for, are you ready for this, filming in public. And he turned around and sued the city of Fort Worth, won a whole crap load of money. Well, this kid turned around, overturned his winning thing, took it to Tarrant County, won, overturned it, went to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, overturned it, and it will be heard by the Supreme Court in the next session. And if he wins, basically every cop in the nation will not be allowed to use, "Oh, hey, I'm filming, therefore that's suspicious, therefore I get to screw with you all over the place." And I'm going, and what was funny was that happened, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. And this officer just, I mean, you already know she's going to sue and she's going to win. I mean, let's just be real here. And the crazy part is the citizens of the city of Fort Worth are going to end up paying for that. And, like every time you hear a story about, oh, this guy got let out of prison, he spent 40 years, what they don't tell you is, on average, they will get $1.3 to $1.6 million for every year that they were in prison. So yeah, they're going to come out and in about 2 to 3 years, they're going to make a crap load of money. But some lawyer's going to get 33% of that. But we, the citizens, are paying for the mistakes that we didn't make. And I just don't understand that. That just, It just drives me insane. You know what I mean?
Hey, Doc, do you think you could get them to arrest me for like 2 years?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not anti-cop. I'm just anti-stupid. You know, I mean, some of the stuff that you hear cops do, you're like, I'm trying to say things from your point of view, but I'm sorry, I passed that level of thinking when I was like 8 years old, or maybe, just maybe, I'm just throwing an idea out here. Maybe it's because I didn't go to medical school till I was like 43 years old. So but you hear some of these stories, and it's just like, are you kidding me? Like the one that I was going to court for when I told him that I wouldn't be searched. This guy supposedly committed a murder, and yet he had evidence, irrefutable evidence, that he was in Nevada when supposedly he was murdering someone in DeSoto, Texas. And I'm going, and I mean, I'm just having to look at it, and guys, pretty good things, but I mean, he had credit card receipts, pictures, testimonies, you know, the maid remembered him. I mean, he had all this stuff, and he had to sue to get it. Well, it had been suppressed when he went to trial, and so he was demanding a retrial to have this evidence put in, and he had to fight to have that done. And I'm sitting here going, you mean to tell me the court doesn't go, hey, let's take a look at, hey, this actually seems right. Okay, maybe we should look at this and do the right thing.
That's because we have courts of no record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the administrative state that's coming down from the last SCOTUS, one of the last SCOTUS things. Yeah, that's part of what that's going to be dealing with as far as the administratives and anything they've taken. And yeah, it won't be coming out of the people. All those people that are responsible for doing that knowingly, because they're all being sent notices. We have some getting ready to be sent, the exact last one on a state by state and township by township kind of thing, because I've got a list of 16 township supervisors, sheriffs, our governor, attorney generals, the Senate and House that are all going to be receiving it. Everything that frickin' was taken, and they're going to all be held responsible personally,
See,
individually, not
it's
the people.
until the responsibility for misdeeds, and
That's
I
where it's going.
as a psychiatrist,
Yep. That's what's coming. I mean,
it,
that's what we've been talking about. That's what the Supreme Court's been doing just lately, and
I've
they
been
dropped the
noticing
big one. And I don't think even some of the attorneys realize what it was. They're going to
because
be surprised.
I look at a lot of these cases. Like I said, I'm not an attorney, but I do have my father's an attorney, and so I kind of get that world a little bit. But you know, I hear these people say do away with qualified immunity, and I'm sitting here going, I'm trying to think of any other profession where you can completely screw up and bear no personal responsibility for your actions. I'm like, there's only one group of people in the world that have that luxury. They're called children.
Amen. And that's even biblical. You're supposed to take it easy on the children and remember that they're only children, not to treat them as harshly as you would an adult. But yeah, they don't have any immunity. They just been lying. They've been trying to convince people they do, but the Supreme Court told them they don't. And guess who does? We the people. We are sovereign.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it blows my mind some of the stories. Like what was the one I read? It was the other day. The Remember, it was like 10 years ago. A kid, it was a police officer shot a kid because he had a phone in his hand, and he said, "Oh, it was a gun." And it's like, obviously it's not. Well, and they've been going back and forth for the last 10 years. Well, they're finally going to press charges on that officer. And I'm going, I get it. I was in the military for 24 years. When your adrenaline's going and everything, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, I'm not an anti-cop. I'm all for giving someone the benefit of the doubt, but some of the stuff is so stupid. It's just like, I am trying my best to try to see you halfway on this, but there's no way a 5-year-old child holding a cell phone in their hand, you misinterpret that for a gun. I mean, there's just no way. It was clear daylight. It's just some of these stories, you're just like, this is retarded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Louis.
Oh yeah, I was gonna check one. I was looking through some questions I saved for Pops. Let me get back to it real quick, and maybe someone can answer it real quick, and maybe it'll help give some information to other people's too. This one was, how does the 14th Amendment nationalize the Bill of Rights and extend the new equal rights to everybody?
Are you familiar with the
We used to,
1866 Civil Rights Act?
No, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't need that one they came out with later during Martin Luther King, but I love that man. But yeah, we already had oh, and it does say all men are created equal, right? In the constitutions. Oh, that's right. Ha ha ha. Joke's on us, huh? Yeah, we need to read more, you guys. There's a lot of good information out there.
Thank you for summing that up. I like that very much. Thank you.
yeah, and I like to go back to, now think of all the different categories of rights. You have unalienable rights, which are unlimited. We have an infinite creator. They endowed us with unlimited, unalienable rights. Our constitutions uh, cover that, uh, and especially the first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution. They're unalienable. They are expressed. They're the ones that are actually written out in black and white in 51 constitutions. Then there are those that are unexpressed. And I think the Article 10, since you're familiar with the federal, Article 9, excuse me, the rights of this Constitution, and if I don't quote it right, please correct me, shall not be construed to disparage or limit any other rights reserved by the people. That is your unlimited, that's your unexpressed. In addition to the other one, that opens the back door to all the state constitutions. And this is almost as hard for it is for them to um, realize people are in charge and they don't answer to the government. The government answers to them. Now, when you talk about civil rights, that primarily has to do with voting rights. Do you see the difference in infinite unalienable rights and civil rights? You probably have a handful of civil rights. Then the other one are human rights. Now, the vaccines, the mRNA vaccines, were to change, were to start shifting us towards transhumanism. So if you have human rights and you are transitioning out of the human category, do you have human rights? And there are only 30 of them that the UN gives. So, but see, we're born male and female. That's not change. That's mankind. All men are inherently free and independent. And then they go on. That's Article 1, Section 1 of the Virginia Bill of Rights. Your Bill of Rights will give you more clarity of details of what our, say, 1A rights are. It fleshes them out so much. They also tell you what type of government and go in more detail about that. So um, we've been programmed to think in terms of civil rights and um, human rights. In fact, there was a black lady at the meeting the other night with a mask on. And I got to talking to her, and I said, I said, you have unlimited unalienable rights. Well, you have them, I don't. I said, yes, you do. I said, God gave us unlimited unalienable rights. I have human rights. And then I gave her I didn't tell her about the vaccine, but I said, well, you've got 30 human rights. All you need to do is exercise your unalienable rights, and they are unlimited. So that's in that 14th Amendment. Somebody mentioned the category of a person. I think Angel mentioned that. That and person can be corporation is an entity that is not of the category of people. People are sovereign. It's, it's not a sovereign citizen because now think about the hierarchy. You got the people, you got the Bill of Rights the people wrote. You have the Constitution the people wrote. Then you have the government that is framed in that Constitution. And then you have the magistrates underneath that. And then you have the category of voting. Voting is mentioned in the Constitution. So then you got the 14th Amendment. And by the way, that was a lawyer friend of Abraham Lincoln that wrote that part. I think the first two sections of the 14th Amendment that had to do with citizens and persons. And so, yes, the people do fit in the category of citizens when it comes to voting, but it doesn't reduce their status as people. It's just a different aspect of your rights that have to do with voting, and that's kind of a hard concept because they have blurred every one of those things, and they want us to look at human rights because man defined those. Man defined as many as he could of our unalienable rights, but they realized there are far more than they could even begin to name. And so as long as they don't harm people or property, your rights are unlimited. And they have to do a lot with the gifts that God has given each of us um, to express where we make our living. We develop our talents. We get education to, give us the ability to, in your case, to practice medicine, that kind of thing. And so um, that is one huge message in our Constitution. That people have really lost that, and I didn't even know we had unlimited until Chuck Smith. He was running for Attorney General. He preached a sermon on he was a commander in the Marines. He preached a sermon on the first 10 amendments of that Constitution, and that's what I learned. I had more than three: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And I'm an old lady. So anyway, that's pretty much it on the unalienable rights, civil rights, and UN.
So did everybody take notes? I know there's a lot to absorb, but I would highly suggest that if you really want to be able to stand on your rights, especially you get a few people in here that start talking about stuff, just jot down a few things, and if you get angry, pop in here. I'd get me a recorder or ask Fish to record the spaces
Oh,
so
hey,
you can re-listen to
we've
them.
had that. Oh, look, Diane, you need to talk to him. We've had this conversation for many, many, many times, many times. I absolutely love the idea. What the thought is, and I believe it originated with Angry Pops himself, and then also Cole mentioned it to Shane. and he tried to get a bill passed in Minnesota. And I know some people that might be trying to, work with it. Having angry pops come in and respond to some of these constitutions recorded would absolutely be a gold mine. And
How many
he
times have you
this
had him on
convers
your spaces, though, Fish?
oh,
Yeah.
I've had him recorded. I've had him unrecorded. Here's the problem with Angry Pops. If anybody can help me with it, Angry Pops, he's a man of his word. His integrity means a lot to him, and so he's difficult sometimes to get him to commit to a time and date because he doesn't want to make promises that he may not be able to keep. But because he's got his
Right.
wife
Yeah.
and him, yeah, and so sometimes he just can't do it because he doesn't want to disappoint. He believes that if he says he's going to be somewhere, and but that's okay. What we do is whenever he shows up, we just give him a mic, and we'll put him at co-host, and we'll let him do whatever he wants to do, and we'll keep the space running as long as we can, as long as he wants to. I mean, if he told me to keep it
Yeah.
open
If you
so that he could
if
talk
you
for another 2 hours,
if
yeah.
you recorded them
Well, see,
cold.
that's the problem. Right, right. That's the problem though, see. We don't know if he's coming or not. So sometimes we don't know if we should record
Well, you should
it.
just automatically, unless I mean, otherwise, yeah, because we can't all make it in here all the time at the same time. But if
Right,
you get a couple of us in
right.
here and we start talking about this stuff, you're gonna want to have it
Oh, I know
recorded.
it.
I would.
I tell you what, if you ladies want to, look, I happen to know some people that know some people. I'm just saying, uh, if you ladies want Sunday night to have this space, we can record it. It's up to you. I sat back and I love this conversation. I'm not lying.
What?
I was just sending somebody a DM, Diane. I said it's nice to sit back and listen to the ladies' opinion. I shit you not. I got receipts. Um, yeah. Now some of it's mic control. We might have to throw people like Rocky out or some shit, every now and
That's funny.
What is that
Yeah,
supposed
I
to mean?
saw somebody in here earlier that definitely was in the wrong room. He kept doing thumbs down. He don't like the fact that he's got rights, I guess.
right. Well, I tell you what Pops likes doing sometimes, depending on his mood. He likes to bring them up, give them a mic, and have a conversation with them. And I'm telling you, it's. I mean, look. Here's what I'm saying. If you ladies would like to, and the other guys too, Pops and Pills and Cole and Clint and whoever else, Nick, guy in some of the other spaces, they like talking about this stuff. If you ladies want to come in and hang out Sunday night, I'm sure we can find Lewis. Lewis will come hang out with us on Sunday
You know, and
night.
you got Dennis down
Marley
here and
Martin,
Ant's
yeah.
farm. You've got a few other people in,
Oh,
and
Kath,
Angie.
I'm gonna get Kath.
I mean,
Oh, I
you've
know it,
got
but see,
you got
you
you
ladies
know,
know him,
and
yeah.
Anya and other ones in here. And
I'm gonna
see,
get
that's been.
I'm gonna get Catherine. I'm gonna get Catherine in that DM room with a couple people, and then I'm just gonna bug her every day. Catherine, when are you gonna come to us? Kath, when are you gonna come to us?
Well, you got
When?
to
And
remember,
then
we're
finally
we,
she'll be.
we're spending
I know.
hours and hours right now studying, and I mean,
Oh, girl, you ought to see how many hours I've
I'm
been
on a
spending.
5 hour working through a 5 hour webinar right now.
Oh, I don't even know what that
Yeah, it's
is.
it's
Look,
all law. It's all law. No, and
I've
it's a
been spending
lot of
so much
notes.
time. I've been spending so much time doing stuff. It's like I'm on X, but I never get to spend any time on X. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know who invented multitasking, but it's about the stupidest thing I ever found, man.
Well, yeah, it
I'm
wasn't
like,
us, right? It was them. It was
I'm
them
like,
time.
what is this
They were
shit?
keeping us busy so we wouldn't know what was going on everywhere else.
Well, it's the fog of war. And that's what I love
Yep.
about the conversations with people like this and other people that we have. We have other people that can talk about and Angry Pops. Angry Pops is a lot more than just constitutional law. That man knows history. That man knows a lot of stuff. And to get him, some of my favorite conversations with him is when we were talking about history. I knew there was some information, but I couldn't tie it together because I knew it existed because I'd seen it with my own eyes. And I couldn't remember where it fit. And one night, Angry Pops came into a space. It was kind of late at night, early in the morning, depending on how you look at it. And we started talking. And as the conversation led on, it went right to two of those pieces of the puzzle that fell right in. And it was about history. Oh, when that man told me, "No, you're right," twice in one space, I was
You'll have
like,
to get.
"Shit!" I was like that. My head swelled up like a balloon, Diane. What
Oh
you
yeah,
talking about? I'm
there's
like,
so much
Angry Pops just
history.
told me I was correct.
There's so much history that was hidden. I mean, have
Mm-hmm.
you'll have to have Catherine go over the ones on slavery and the American Indians and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And she's
and
got a
and I and
great
I'll tell you,
article
people,
about that. I do have to
and
check
Diane,
out.
I'll give everybody some advice. I'll give everybody some advice that I've learned. AIs on the internet, Google, there's three that basically run it, and apparently they have woke ideology programmed into them. Elon Musk is working on some that does it. But at the end of the day, through conversations with one particular I discovered that they only know what they've been shown or programmed. They don't have the ability to go to a ancient library somewhere and actually physically open a book or look at some documents that are thousands and thousands of years old. And so unless they see it, they don't know it. And I found that out by talking to one of them because I'm like, no, I know the information is there.
Yeah, but the
I
input
don't have, and the
equals
AI,
output.
yeah. Mhm,
Input equals output
mhm,
always has in as far as computers go, and that's just another
mm.
computer program. So yeah,
That's all it
yeah, I
is,
know. I
actually.
had
And look,
computers in college, so
mhm,
yeah,
yeah. The advantage of it, what I can see so far, and I'm not saying there's not things that you have to be really concerned about with. Uh, the advantage is it can cover all the post within within minutes or seconds, and tell you what was discovered, and then it can compare it to all the like if you're talking to it about biblical stuff. And you got to remember, it doesn't have a soul. It doesn't. It's not But when you're talking to it about biblical stuff, it there's a lot of discussion about what was put in, what was put out, what was left in, what was left out, blah 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 blah. But it looks at all of it really fast, you know. But don't just take what it says because you have to understand that it doesn't know and see everything. It doesn't know
yeah,
until it knows.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
It's an
gonna
odd
say good night. I've got
conversation.
to get back to Telegram, and if you guys are still around, I'll check
Mhm.
in. You have a blessed night.
Well, I look, thank you for joining in. Thank you for having a conversation tonight. Thank you. That was fun. I was sitting
Yes,
back listening and enjoy it, huh?
absolutely.
And I'm
Loved it.
telling you,
Thank you for coming.
I'm I'm it it was nice sitting back and listening to the ladies have this conversation. It really
I
was.
know, I love it.
So look, if you ladies want to come back and do it Saturday, I mean
Sunday.
Sunday again, just let me know and we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll get Catherine in a room and we'll find out. And then also we want to find out how to get with her and support her, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working. It'll be a space with Dave. I'm going to let you know that. Why don't we pick somebody's constitution and begin to read the Bill of Rights? I
I
think
tell you
you
what, we
might
could
be
do it.
surprised.
We can do it. I tell you how quick we can do it. If you want to come back next Sunday, we could. Do you? I
Sure.
mean, I don't know. I wish we had it recorded already. I know some people are looking into it, but if we just have it, we can act. Lewis has got a pretty sexy voice, and
Oh
you know,
yeah.
look at
Well,
Lewis
he
is
can.
like, what? Wait, what?
Well,
But
he
Lewis,
can read it.
there you go. He can
Yeah.
read the parts of it,
Yeah.
and then you can
Y-
you can address it, and then if and you guys can break it down. I'm sure we can do that. That'd be easy. And then if we know, and we can talk about this, if we know, we can hit the record button, and when you guys drop in, we can have it. Now we might have to take some mics, and because some people have issues with not being able to stop from interfering, but I'm sure we can handle
yeah.
something. I'm sure we can handle a lot of things, and so I'm down for it. Dana, you down for it?
Absolutely. Yes.
Lewis,
Yeah. If we could just take
Lewis has got
a
heart. Lewis has got
preamble. Yeah.
Marley Mar. We got Marley Mar. Marley Mar is sometime co-hosting with us, but right now she's having troubles. One of her heels broke, and she can't figure out how to get up the step ladder to get to the refrigerator. So
Oh my God. But you know what? You're not wrong. I do have trouble with heels. So nothing wrong.
I can't. I love, I love messing with Marley Mar. You should get in some of our conversation, Catherine, when we're talking about ancient history and we always, I'm one of those that likes to use the Bible as reference. Like, if you can find it in the Bible, now we can talk about it. You know, and so it's fun sometimes because we find out stuff. It's like, how did I miss that? Like the last 50 times I read it. You know. If you guys like that stuff, you could join us in when we have those conversations. But anyway, I had a ball. I loved it, and we still got some time. So whatever you guys wanna, if you guys wanna ask something or get something started, Lewis is really good at starting picking subjects to start on. I kid you not. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
Well, I tell you right now, my, wouldn't mind, like I say, if we did something like the preamble of the Constitution, it really picked those words apart. But
Yes,
right
ma'am.
now, we're having to stay on every boss and planning meeting we've got because we got to fight that thing with stacking up 12
Yes, ma'am.
houses
We'll
on an acre.
we'll be really flexible with it. And
Okay.
so we can work that because there may be some things that we want to do just to get it down and then bring it in and listen to it, and we can do some stuff. If we talk about it in spaces, everybody will be like, "Hey," and then you'll get like 50,000 DMs and stuff, and but yeah, we'll get together on that because this was fun. This was really fun. And thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, it is fun, but what this master plan is, they've got it seriously got a plan to implement everywhere, and it's the same pattern. These people aren't even in our town that are on that
Hmm.
thing, most of them, and so I'm going to be pretty focused on trying to, you know, get that,
Give it to them.
and then yeah, and then look at how um, there was a transition. Virginia was divided into church parishes, but and because we had a state church, which is the Anglican Church, everybody paid 10%, whether you were a member of the church or not. But the church would take care of the people who were in poverty, regardless if they were members. So that was kind of, it was kind of, that aspect of it was good. But I'm trying to find out after they wrote the Constitution for Virginia, what form of local government did they have? Because see,
I know somebody that I think lives in Virginia that might want to find out
oh
too.
really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wow, that's
Yes,
good. That'd be
ma'am.
real good.
Yeah, I know somebody I believe that lives in Virginia. Hmm. Yes,
because
ma'am.
we got people in different counties, and see if
Yeah.
because if you don't learn your constitutions, you you can't. Okay, it's like if you ever talk to an atheist about the Bible, as soon as you start getting over in there in the area of experience, they take you out anywhere. You
Hmm.
give them scripture, you keep them in a box. If you don't go out of your thing, it's like, say, if a policeman stops you, uh, it just wants to search your car or your truck. You keep asking them, what's your jurisdiction? Uh, you know, where in the Constitution do you have the right to search my vehicle? Do you have a warrant? That kind of thing. You keep it in the constitutional boundary when you're talking, and they can't come out of that. Finally, they give up and say, "Have a nice day." But as soon as they can get you to acquiesce to what they want, then you're sunk. And so that's the kind of thing that people need to learn to do. And because if you know how to stand on your constitutional rights, they can't take advantage of you. And if nothing else, go to your county website and see what they check out your planning committee and your what's the name of the commission? I can't. I think it's the planning commission, and in our case, they're split up into two different subdivisions: planning and zoning. So check that out and try to find out what they're trying to put in your community. Because if you we were able to fight them back. I think because at least one of us knew the Constitution, and to get them straight as to what their job is to redress grievances and protect our rights. And so when the people were, sticking up for their rights, they tabled whatever it was they were going to do, and they didn't like it, but they did it. But the bigger issue is stacking those things up. I don't want to be overrun like that. But anyway, yeah, I'd be glad to meet, and and uh, you know we might could do two or three preambles for comparison because the preamble tells you what your Constitution is about, and it establishes who wrote it. It is every one of them is going to have the people in it. And that's the key thing. So anyway, good night. I'm about to fall asleep. I got to get up early.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Thank you, and
thanks
thank you
for
so much.
inviting me. I enjoyed it.
Oh
I
no,
love
ma'am. You
y'all.
have you have an open invitation anytime you like, ma'am, and hopefully
Oh,
we
that's
see you
super.
next Sunday. And please let us know about the other stuff because
I
I think
will. I'm
we,
going to let you.
yeah,
As soon as Dave has his spaces, I'm going to put that thing out there.
yes,
And
ma'am. And I'll make sure to get that little room open up so that we can hopefully whenever you need to
okay.
get us information, somebody will be on there at the same time.
Oh,
See
great.
down
That's
there, yeah.
perfect.
C's down there
Yeah.
clapping her hands, so we might have to put her in there and
Good.
let her put her to work too. She down there clapping her hands.
Oh, super. Well, we will be sure when that job form comes out. I know Diana's going to blast that thing everywhere, and I'll make sure the people that are following me get it because that's going to be very important. We're we're um, we're going to let them know they cannot be going after our candidates like that.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so I don't know how exactly Dave's words, but it's in direct response to what happened yesterday because that thing looked like a setup.
It
God
does.
had the last word.
And it does have a bad taste to it. I agree with that. Yes, ma'am.
As
Lewis.
soon as I saw it,
Yep, Lewis, you got
yeah.
Lewis been waiting. Let's see, Lewis, what you got, bro? Real quick before
Just real
she
quick,
runs
since
off.
yeah, before she brought that up, I was looking in, dug up, and apparently someone found out that the head Secret Service lady has deep connections to Liz Cheney and their family, and was kind of behind that January 6th of deleting the tapes. So that could symbol why they might have left that open. Second part was that the Secret Service is blaming it on the local police, that it was their job to secure that area of the buildings.
Who was blaming it on them?
The Secret Service said that they gave that detail for that area.
Blame the local police?
Yeah, so that
Gave it to the local
No,
police.
it's not the
Exactly.
it's not the local police that does that. When the vice president came to our hotel, the Secret Service secured the area. They literally brought dogs and they sniffed the floors that she would be on, and the perimeter and the outlying buildings. They searched everything. They're the ones that set it up, and the police.
Yeah, see, that's scapegoating
Yeah,
right there.
that's
Is what
total
that is, ain't
scapegoating.
it? That's scapegoat. You're 100% scapegoating right
That's
there.
complete bullshit.
There's no time that I've ever known for a lesser agency to get control over something that the higher, right? It usually works the other way around, right, Lewis? I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah, it's all
like,
jurisdiction.
They'll
damn.
work in conjunction with. They work in conjunction with, but the feds, they have authority over it. They're the lead, and they're the
Oh,
ones that take over everything.
I prom I promise you, when the Secret Service rolls in with a candidate, especially an ex-president, yeah, they have authority. You go stand your ass over there. Thank you very much. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's and so that's what I'm saying. When you look at the events and how they went down, I'm not saying all of them made mistakes. I'm saying there was enough shady ass shit going all around that tells you that was like a bunch of monkeys humping a football. If I was to evaluate it overall, I would say, yeah, some people did the shit the right way, but there was a majority of people that was literally incompetent, ignorant, stupid. I mean, I would have a whole bunch of words, and if I was their boss, but apparently I don't have enough experience at protecting Cheetos. Uh, but yeah,
Oh, you don't,
if
huh?
I had if yeah, but if I had him in my office right now, I would be using some words that most people would be like, "Can he say that to us?" Because I would be like, "What in the f?" You know,
Was
I'm
the
not
Secret
sure.
Service agent from Colorado, was that the woman with the blonde hair?
I don't know, but there
Did
was a
that,
couple things. I think it was the one. I don't tag. You know what? I shouldn't even say it because then people say, "Oh, Fish said it was that one." There was one lady, and I get there was a lot of mistakes made, and it's possible, folks, when shit's going on like this, that some people do the right thing at the right moment, and then a few minutes later, they might make a mistake because you got to understand the amount of stress and pressure. It's like you're going from calm to boom, explosion and insanity occurring around you. So I saw one lady that I think, you know, she was doing her damnedest to protect Donald J. Trump. Period. Now, what she did before that and after that, I don't know. Uh, some other people did the same thing. Now, once the gig was up, some of the bad actors, if there were any bad actors, may have started doing things the right way. But I mean, to me, they didn't even have the limousine parked in the right place because look how long it took them to get it out. In a situation like that, you grab him, you drag him if you have to, you get him away from the threat. You throw him in the I mean, this damn limousine is like rocket proof. So at least you got him in somewhere that the rifle ain't even gonna hardly make a dent in. And then you get him the F out of there and you're gone. And so it should have been more like a grab, drag, shove in, woo woo down the highway, and then anything that interferes until you get him into like a safer location or a bunker or Air Force One is in the sky, you move it. You shoot it if you destroy it if you have to. But you get him in Air Force One or you get him into a bunker and you get him gone. Now that's the president. This is an ex-president. So you get him to his jet or you get him somewhere where he's safe. And it doesn't, you don't stop and take coffee breaks along the way. I don't know. It didn't happen the way it should happen. He shouldn't have been on the stage as long as he was. They shouldn't have had to huddle around him. They should have been dragging him off of there. They should have got him out of the area. Just because, oh, we shot the guy, you don't know if there's other people. You don't know if more of them's coming. You don't know if there's a bomb coming. You don't know if there's a hand grenade coming. You grab him. You drag him off the damn stage. You throw him in the most secure thing you have there, which is that limousine, and then you get him the hell out of there. And then whatever you need to do medically inside, you're doing first aid and everything you can, and you're already on the way to the hospital. Why you're sitting there doing some kind of hula dance on stage where people were just shooting at you is beyond me. So no, that shit was like incompetent as fuck. And I barely graduated kindergarten, and I know that shit. So I mean, damn, it doesn't. There's a whole lot to question there, Catherine. A whole lot of shit that went down to question there. That whatever he was, the sheriff department guy with his hands in his pocket, watching the man crawl up on the building. He would be somewhere right now answering questions whether he's fucking liked it or not. The two snipers on the roof, they would be in a world of shit right now until I was satisfied with what happened. The whoever was in charge that day, him and his number two in charge and his number three in charge, would all be sitting there explaining what the hell. And then every other single member would be going through questioning. And if they even so much as smelt like they weren't given exactly the truth, it would. I mean, they would be. They'd be locked the fuck down until they did. These are government employees. They don't have all the rights that everybody else does on the planet Earth. People may believe it, but when I was in the military, I had to give up some of my constitutional rights. So, these guys are going to have to explain it, every single one of them. But the problem is the way the system works in America, who knows how long it'll be. That's one of the problems that we face today. It takes so long for it to get up to to get past the corruption.
Thank you
Did I
for
say that right, Dana?
thank you for
Go
coming
ahead,
and
Rocky.
sharing your wealth of knowledge with us, Catherine. Angels,
Oh, no
Deborah,
shit, man. That was
or not Deborah.
fantastic,
Well,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and
well, my wealth of knowledge I've gained in the last 3 years because I hit the panic button. It locked down. I said, "What is this?" But I got to get some shut eye.
God bless
This was
you.
Yes, ma'am.
fun, and
Yes, ma'am. Have a
yes,
good
and
one.
thank you for your support. It'll be great because this will be a movement, and it's going to be unstoppable. And I'm
Yes,
telling you, we get that job form, sign that thing, it'll go viral.
yes, ma'am. I mean,
All
and
right.
just let us know. And if you want next Sunday's report, we could do that. Yes, and we
Okay.
could.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
I could.
Yeah.
I probably can't stay on for hours on Sunday, but I'd love
That's okay.
to.
That's okay. You can
We can
come. You can come in.
pick
You
a
can come in.
competition.
Yeah, yeah. You can
Yeah.
come in and do what you got time to do, and then hopefully other people can
Right.
get in. Yeah, we're flexible. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, I've enjoyed it. I really have, and I just I think it's great because we're all Americans, and people don't even look like me. I smile at them and they smile back, and it might not have been so before everything happened. People are catching on that this thing is not about pitting one against another. It's about us gathering together and uniting for what's right. And
What's truth?
you know,
Truth matters.
sticking
Truth
up for our
matters.
rights, learning what they are and sticking up for them, because
And
we have
and tr- and
unlimited, unalienable rights.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As it is written. I've heard Pop say that so many times.
Absolutely,
Yes, ma'am.
it is. All right, good night,
Good night.
everybody. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Good night.
Hey, that was fun, Dana.
That was
That was good.
awesome. Yes.
I know it. And I just sitting there listening, and I'm like, man, it's nice to listen to the ladies, you know. And Lewis, you did an outstanding job, brother. Thank you, sir.